Nice opinion. Just one tiny problem with it. Inspecting your post, it looks like your opinion is different from mine. Let me tell you something. I am the baseline for opinions. Any opinion I hold is objectively correct, and as a result, any other opinions are wrong. Guess what? You happen to hold a wrong one. I hope you know that your opinion is now illegal. I have contacted the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, the Navy SEALs, Secret Service, and your mom. You'll be sorry you ever shared your opinions. By the time you're reading this, you'll be done for. Nature will punish you. Humanity will punish you. Supernatural beings will punish you. Space will punish you. We decided just to make sure we'll nuke your house from orbit, so there's no chance you can run away. Everyone will know you will die. It's a small price to pay to remove your wrong opinion from this world.
Hello. Let's first I want to test something live. Okay, let's see if this works. Okay, it does. Okay. Nice. Okay. Anyway, we're going to react to first off Johnny Somali, then Twitch, then probably the essay thing I was talking about. I have in the description. Without further ado, I guess we shall get started. Let's just mute the okay. So yeah. Where is it? Okay, here we are. Okay. Okay.
Oh boy. So we just got out of the Johnny Somali October 29th trial date, and it's safe to say he's going to be stuck here for a lot longer. Obviously,
I think the thought is a year at least.
Johnny has been facing 8 charges for a while now. 2 deepfake charges, 4 business disruption charges, and 2 misdemeanors. But as we found out in last week's court date, Johnny ended up suing Yulman for assault with a baton, deepfakes, and stalking. Or, well, technically he was pressing charges against him. And I mean, that may or may have not happened because, you know, we have video of it. So they ended up settling that case, and in the settlement, they both dropped their charges on each other. So Johnny traded 3 charges dropped for 1 with Yulman. And there's no real reason for why that wouldn't be accepted, so we're just gonna assume that one of those deepfake charges are gone, leaving him with 7 charges left and a maximum sentence potential of roughly 12 years, and a minimum sentence of 2 years. But there's one big problem for him, because they need the streamer by the name of Bong Bong to testify, and to put it lightly, she doesn't care. So today's trial, here's the 3 characters.
And also, she's not in the country at the time being. She's over in Australia. So if she wanted to, within reason, she could travel to other places to delay as much as she could, within obviously reason.
Involved: Johnny, Bong Bong, and Yulman. Johnny needs no introduction anymore, as everyone knows him as the dude who acts like he has a room temperature IQ. He's been harassing people on the street abroad for
Yeah, I think room temperature is being a bit nice, but that's just me.
Content for a couple of years now for quote-unquote fame and money.
Why are you bullying people in other countries? For money, like, for clout.
But in reality,
I mean, I support the grift, but this is kind of stupid way to do it.
he makes less than a minimum wage worker in the state of Georgia and lives in a bunk bed with the last person on earth who barely tolerates him.
Not good. Oh, that's cool.
Allegedly, Johnny owes him roughly $30,000 because
Wait, why pause?
he doesn't have any money and completely relies on Hank to live. Hank is also currently banned from the United States, but that's just like a whole nother story. This whole story, though, is just like the slowest and most dragged out train wreck that makes it very clear to never harass strangers on the street and disrespect people's cultures for your content, as clearly it backfired massively. Now, for the other 2. Yulman, we mentioned in my last video. He's one of the 4 Korean IRL streamers who wanted to make sure Johnny didn't harass more people for content. So they kept tabs on where he was, and when he acted out, they checked him multiple times. But the clip where Johnny ended up running for his life, that was Yulman, who disarmed Hank and chased him around with Hank's baton. At doing so, while
I mean, then Hank claimed they brought the baton, which obviously we have video proof. It was Hank that brought the baton.
While streaming was incredibly stupid, but then for some reason he decided to live stream himself throwing multiple bricks through the courthouse windows during the time South Korea was under martial law. So he ended up being tried alongside of 60 other people in an expedited trial and thrown into prison. And this
Needless to say, not the smartest idea. If your country's under martial law, don't throw a brick in a courthouse window. Just a piece of advice.
Became massive leverage for Johnny, as they ended up settling last week after Johnny pressed charges against Youngman for the incident that we mentioned earlier, as they agreed to drop the charges on each other. Then finally, you have Bong Bong, a Korean streamer who's gained a following in the gutters of the internet, because from everything I've seen of her, something's off. But she decided to stream with Johnny last year. Instantly regretted it, because after the stream, he lied and bragged about them being together and showed the deepfake of them kissing on his stream while bragging. And what's important is he did so in a very humiliating way. He was like, haha, look at this, look at we did. What we'll later find out is he claims that he didn't do it in a humiliating way, but unfortunately he live streamed himself doing so. So because Johnny yet again is his own star witness against himself, it made it very easy for Bong Bong to go to the police station, press charges, and now this is a serious offense in Korea. And because of that one single charge, he's now facing a decade in prison over there. And that's what the trial we're covering today is all about. But first, I want to talk about today's sponsor,
But do I think he's going to,
Cooper, because
do I think he's going to, actually go for a decade? Probably not.
every year, shoppers miss out on billions of dollars in savings if they had just applied discount codes that are available to the public. The only problem, most people have no idea where to find them, and they often take time to find. And a certain app that did this back in the day, they're still facing lawsuits. And let's be real, I feel like a lot of people still have honey PTSD from when they got caught replacing creators' referral codes and swapped them out with their own. And they did so when people were just trying to check to see if they had any available coupons. But thankfully, there's an honest coupon web extension called Cooper, and they do the same with a twist, and thankfully doesn't steal from your favorite creator. As Cooper is a free browser extension that automatically finds, tests, and applies the best working coupon codes at checkout, then gives users cash back for shopping through partnered stores. So Cooper offers three main ways to save money on your online purchases. First one being, Cooper automatically searches hundreds of thousands of websites to find you the best deal on products. 2, Cooper also runs coupon testing for over 3 million different retailers to make sure that you're actually buying the item at the lowest possible price. And finally, they offer a bunch of cashback rewards on tons of retailers, which you can withdraw directly into your bank account or on PayPal. So if that sounds like a win to you, you can join the millions of users who also use Cooper by clicking the link at the top of the description down below and adding it to your web browser. But other than that, we have a video to finish, so let's continue.
All right, so it's 11:55 in the morning, 29th of October, 2025. We're here in Seoul, South Korea, trying to get in some last-minute electrolytes. I completely forgot my glasses at home, so that's smart. So we're gonna be rocking without glasses today.
So basically, it's gonna be blind.
Thankfully, I don't need them that much. We just need some coffee, and we're gonna cover this trial, and we'll be fine. Originally, we're supposed to have 3 testimonies today. It was supposed to be Johnny, Hank, and Bong Bong. But as we found out from watching Bong Bong streams the other night, in quote, she said, "My lawyer told me I don't have to go. I don't care. I don't want to waste my time for Johnny Somali." Okay. But then, obviously, someone said, hey, you might have to pay a 5 million won fine, which is roughly like, I think it's like $3,500 or something like that. So then she said, I don't know, maybe should just go, worst case. Just talk to lawyer. I heard you could submit a reason for your absence. Worst case, we need to get a flight.
This is apparently what she said on stream when she found out it was a bad idea that she traveled to Australia last minute.
The Johnny Somali trial testimony. I don't know. I'm talking to a lawyer, but they didn't answer. Lawyer said that I don't have to, but just in case I will go to airport. I don't know. Ah, it's so annoying. I think I don't have to, isn't it? I need to pay the fine. If I don't know, I have to pay the fine or not. There is a paper, like absence paper. I can send the absence paper, they said. The fine is 5,000 Australian dollar maximum, I think. I don't think I have to pay that much for that. That's too much. Seriously, too much.
In this game, your heroes will die. A lot. With every defeat, a new...
Like, it wasn't until after she found out she was committing a crime and could get hit with heavy fines that she realized, oh, this might be a bad idea.
That's how much Johnny Somali matters to people. They don't care.
Okay. Yep, this entire case just has a whole group of fascinating people, to put it lightly. So we got to court, and this is what happened according to our notes. At 1:51, the prosecutor enters
It's a comedy at this point.
the courtroom. All indications show that the prosecutor is intending to use the massive TV that is inside there, possibly to show evidence. However, if witness testimony is canceled, that might not happen. And shortly after, the bailiff started talking about calling Hank to see where he is. At 1:57 p.m., they're all setting up the monitor, connecting it to the computer. A second prosecutor is now in the room, making sure the setup is ready. The prosecutor plans to show the video. The bailiff then asks if any witnesses are in the room. Then shortly after, Johnny's lawyer peeks into the courtroom just like last time, checking if he's here, and then he leaves. So at 1:58 p.m., we find out that Youngman is actually in the building. So that's showing us that there's going to be a testimonial from him, even though they settled. At 1:59 p.m., Johnny and Hank and the lawyers enter the court and sit at the front row. Both are wearing black suits, and Johnny is carrying a smoothie or something like that. At 2 p.m., the
Interesting choice to be carrying a smoothie in a courtroom where you could, not end well for you.
lawyer is consulting with the interpreter. And this time, we also notice that Korean press is here. Last time, they didn't show up. But just after 2, the judge enters the court, and the judge reads out the case number and calls Ramzi Khalid Ismail to the defendant's stand. Johnny carries a backpack and an empty Starbucks cup. At 2:03 p.m., Ramzi pulls out a pile of documents from his backpack. The lawyer is submitting his written opinion on evidence. This is basically just his argument for his innocence. And the judge receives it and glances at it. Because yesterday, the defense counsel submitted his opinion regarding the settlement. The judge asked the lawyer about the evidence, and the lawyer says the only new addition to the evidence is the settlement with Youngman. The defendant denies charges of deepfake, saying there was no intent. He also claims that the materials cannot be used as humiliation. He admits the distribution, but denies that it can cause harm in the form of shame. The prosecutor then submits evidence. Witness Bong Bong is not present today, as we kind of expected, honestly, because, she's in Australia. And apparently she sent in a formal request saying that she wanted to attend after about a month. Then at 2:11 p.m., the first witness, Youngman, is going to take the stand. Youngman chose to make his testimony private, so we won't be hearing his testimony. Hank apparently will also give a private testimony, and the courtroom has been cleared. We're all waiting outside at this point. Everyone left the courtroom, and this kind of left Hank hanging, like right outside the court door, and it seems like he requested to be put back into witness protection, which was kind of odd because, no one even went up to him. No one was trying to, clip farm him. I see no point in trying to clip farm Hank. There are speculations as the Youngman...
who's clip farming Hank, honestly, besides the Korean town people that did interview with him? That's not really clip farming, but, whatever.
Is likely going to give a pretty neutral testimony that will neither help nor hurt Johnny, and we later found out that Youngman is not the one who requested the private testimony, that it was actually the judge's decision. At 3:51 p.m., the courtroom is reopened to the public, and the testimony lasted approximately 1 hour and 40 minutes. The lawyer makes the 30-minute argument where Johnny essentially denies obstruction of business at Lotte World because Lotte World claimed that he stopped the ride for 30 minutes. In reality, it was 10 to 15 minutes, so he just...
Still obstruction of a business, regardless the time. It's still a disruption of a business, regardless how long it takes.
denies the whole claim, but he's already pleaded guilty to that charge, so it doesn't make sense why they're trying to negate it right now. The lawyer then also said that, hey, the Lotte World charges of the whole child harassment, that was dropped, so that should be taken into consideration as well, according to the attorney of Johnny. So Johnny's attorney is trying to paint him out as innocent because that charge was dropped. But then they scheduled the next hearing for February 11, 2026. And then Johnny, before the court could leave, he stands up and asks the judge if he can do an expedited trial. And he wants essentially a speedy trial since he has family and obligations in America. And the judge immediately refused Johnny's request. So after the trial, I asked Johnny what his strategy was with all this, because all of this does not make sense. I don't understand why he's out here uploading videos of him actively harassing people in South Korea while he's currently on trial. But he wanted
answer, he's kind of stupid.
to do an actual interview. I don't want to give him an interview as he's already been interviewed a bunch. People know his story. They don't care about what he
I mean, who cares to interview the guy outside of, I guess, making fun of him?
has to say. They just want to see the trial outcome. So I asked him to his face, why is he uploading videos on YouTube of him being disrespectful in Korea while he's in trial? But instead of giving a straight answer, he just lashed out at me and insulted my family because it was obvious he was having an awful day and was trying to get some sort of
I mean, when you don't have anything else, you just insult people. Classic.
reaction out of me. So hopefully he enjoys his extended stay out here in Korea, as his next trial date is out in February. So Merry Christmas. But I asked one of my legal connections
And Happy New Year.
out here why he wasn't eligible for the expedited trial, and this was his response. So he said these would normally be reserved for simple and straightforward cases in which the defendant pleads guilty. Johnny didn't plead guilty to all charges. He's trying to fight this, so that makes the whole process take infinitely longer. A vast majority of these cases are also where the defendant is caught red-handed in the act, witnessed by police, and is arrested on the spot, and obviously is pleading guilty. But also, high-profile, high-stake cases, such as these right here, could also be expedited. For example, Youngman's trial was expedited because he was one of the people who decided to throw a few bricks through the courthouse windows, along with the 62 others were actually
Genius idea.
charged. I don't know if 62 other people actually threw bricks through the courthouse window, but 62 people were charged in that case. And for that case, both of the above reasons applied, so it was easy to get an expedited trial for that. The riot took place in January and the trial started in March, and on August 1st, he was convicted. There were multiple court dates, roughly 8 to 10, but they were also spaced out by days instead of months. Johnny's claim of "I have family and other obligations" does not appear to be on that list of legally valid reasons to expedite a trial. Furthermore, the decision to expedite a case is determined by a committee before the trial starts, and the case number assigned, because expedited trials have a designated code attached to the case number. Expedited trials also require a panel of judges for fairness rather than one judge presiding over a case. And once a trial begins, it cannot be converted to an expedited trial. That is why they carefully make this determination before assigning the case number and proceeding to trial. So Johnny will now be stuck here for a while, and if Bong Bong doesn't show up for the next trial, it can be delayed for another 3 months, and so on and so on. And the judge, in response to
So again, it's a kind of in her court, again within reason, how long this trial goes. So if she wants to take another few other trips, but or she might just want to end it.
Johnny's trial expedition request was that other foreigner trials have been going on for over 2 years, and that he's not special, so he too will just have to wait. So I mean, this is just one massive warning to never harass innocent people on the street and disrespect people's culture for just views online, because clearly it is not worth it, and Johnny is in the process of very slowly finding out. Also, happy Halloween. My son has me dressed up as a World War I fighter pilot, because he's also a little pilot himself. And I also wanted to quickly say this is basically your last chance to get the limited edition Mad City Halloween collection, which is on Matt.City, and also the court sketch print from the first time we went to the Johnny Somali trial. Both of those links will be in the top pinned comment, and they will be gone forever in just a few days, so if you want them, you can get them now. But other than that, thank you guys so much for the support. I'm now finally back home again, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, because we're just locking back in, continuing daily content. So hey, subscribe if you're new, drop a like on this video if you want me to travel back out to South Korea again, and thank you so much to Cooper for sponsoring this video, as you can check them out at the top of the description down below, and start saving your money on your online shopping today. But other than that, I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Peace.
Gusto is the best choice for small business payroll. It's fast.
All right, so that is that one. We're gonna there we go. Okay, here's the next one we're gonna watch. Yeah, it's about the Twitch thing, and I mean, Miskits for this lawsuit.
This Kip's lawsuit is hilariously bad. Today we're breaking it down on the legal mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. Of course, I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney in America, and we're going to break this down for you today. It's good to be back. Thank you guys for being patient with me. I've been doing some traveling. I'm back in the States for a little bit, and I'm very excited to be coming back with this topic, something I predicted in my last review.
I think we all figured it out.
Emaru kind of
I think we all kind of
It was
guessed.
drama then, but it's legal now. There's a lawsuit now, and this is something that is absolutely going to blow back on Miskiff, and we're going to get into that today. Of course, I've got a PowerPoint as we get into this Fast Facts version. If you like the Fast Facts, if you like this format, make sure to like the video, leave a comment, let me know you love the Fast Facts, and let me know you're glad that I'm back. So this is Miskiff versus effectively everyone. Now, I know not everyone on the internet is named in this, but all the big players are in this. And we're going to go over the parties first so you guys understand the background for this lawsuit and what's going on here today. So obviously, a couple disclaimers up front. This is something that I wanted to break down. First of all, this is a public court document. I know that there's an unredacted version. Anybody can go out there and find the unredacted version with all the names, everything else. I have chosen to take selections for the fast facts and to redact them. However, once again, all this stuff is now public. One thing about a lawsuit is it all becomes public. Everything becomes public, which is why things are going to be very, very interesting. One fun fact was I don't believe Miskiff is using his legal name or real name. I believe he's using a previous name because I've seen other lawsuits where he uses a different name. So regardless, if he's using a fake name, that's going to come out. The real name will come out, particularly in a response by the defendants, Emaru, Asmongold, OTK, Mythic. That's going to come out. One other big thing is I am obviously represented by Mythic, but I do not represent or speak for Mythic. I'm not their lawyer. I'm not their representative. I don't speak for Asmongold, Emaru, anybody else, OTK. I'm speaking for myself. And one of the things that I do appreciate, and I want to give a little bit of thanks to Mythic on this, is I actually had this conversation with them before I ended up signing with them, saying, hey, look, if anything comes out involving a lawsuit, I'm going to cover it. Now, I'm going to do it as I always do, neutrally, based on the facts, based on the law, telling you the way it is or the way it isn't. And that's just the way it's going to be for me. And that's always how it's going to be for me. But they did not put any caps or restraints on what I said or how I speak, particularly as it involves the facts of the law. So I'm not representing anybody and just throwing it out there. The last thing is, I am going to make some bold statements here. I do say his lawsuit is hilariously bad, but court cases are always unpredictable. You never know what's going to happen. Even if there's a 99% chance that he loses, hey, there's a 1% chance out there. Judges can be crazy. Things can be crazy. Things can happen in unexpected ways. So just got to throw that out there so that everybody knows that, once again, I'm honest about how things shake up in court. So let's get into it. Who are the parties? Obviously, Miskiff here. Oh my gosh, this guy, what a clown. So he is claiming all sorts of damages here in terms of reputational harm, loss of business goodwill, loss of earnings, future earning potential, emotional distress, and mental anguish. Oh, mental anguish. Did those plushies hurt your soul, Miskiff? Did those plushies destroy you? I know you got the big Donkey Kong
Not the mental anguish.
back there, but you're really baby Yoshi energy. Listen, Miskiff is going to destroy himself legally, financially, and reputationally in this. And I am going to be here to cover it all the entire way. So I'll say it once and I'm going to say it again. Thank you, Miskiff, for the infinite content here. Obviously, you have Emaru, Emmy here. She obviously was key to the accusations involved.
Yes. So, I mean, thankfully, she said something.
Obviously, some emotional, physical, potentially sexual allegations against Mr. Miskiff. And that's going to be key to what's going on here. But backed up on that and in the lawsuit is the Roach King himself, Asmongold. He's in this in the defamatory context, claiming that his statements are defamatory. That's what Miskiff is going after. So he's pulled into this as well. And mind you, both Emmy and Asmongold.
I mean, of course, because basically, Emmy is basically his kind of, in a way, little sister, and also his best friend as well. One of his
would be key to the discovery here, and both of them would be deposed, which means they're going to get questioned, and all those things, including all those things Asmongold said he kind of doesn't want to talk about yet. Yeah, he's going to have to talk about those eventually when he's asked questions by his lawyers and by Miskiff's lawyers. So all those stories and all those things he says he has are going to come out. Now, he may not want to tell them right away, and I respect his decision. Obviously, he's a thoughtful guy, and he's thinking about this carefully, but all those things are going to come out as he is now a named defendant. Another named defendant, Mythic Talent, of course, once again, my talent agency, but once again, I'm not personally involved in this, but they're brought into this for contractual side as well as OTK as a corporate unit. Obviously, they all had some ownership stakes in this. They all had a share in this. So obviously, depriving Miskiff of his shares is one of the claims at stake here. So let's get into this lawsuit. So first, we have breach of contract. Now, this is the strongest possible claim. Now, why do I say strongest possible? Because we don't have the entire contract. Now, I can speculate on what that is based on, number one, my experience with these types of contracts, and number two, having written some types of contracts like this myself. As you guys may or may not know, I'm a corporate lawyer. I have reviewed a lot of corporate agreements. So I can very much imagine what's going on here. And the strongest argument that he does have, and this is me being honest and upfront, is that there might be some breach of contract until we see the contract. My argument here in my kind of thoughts for OTK in general would be release the contract. It's going to come out as part of discovery. It's going to come out as part of this process. So one thing I would want to see, and once again, they can release this privately, publicly, whatever, it's going to come out as part of the lawsuit, is to get this particular agreement. So what is he saying? He's saying that, hey, they ousted him from ownership without breach or default. And now what that is saying is he had no notice. He had no reason to know he was going to be kicked out of OTK. Well, by his own admission and by the filing of the letter, which they previously sent him, in fact, he was on notice. He already had a strike. They could have removed him for just that, but they decided not to. So this, to me, despite being his strongest possible claim, is fundamentally flawed by his own evidence, by the evidence that he's submitted himself. So saying that he's divested with no breach or notice is, in fact, countered by what he submitted, which we'll look at later. The next count is defamation. Now, this one is one you guys can obviously are familiar with. We've covered a lot of defamation cases on my channel. So he's saying that essentially...
But the key, I mean, he literally admitted to some of the things that that she said.
Actually, the two main defendants, which are essentially Emaru and Asmongold, have defamed him with untrue statements, et cetera, and have published these to millions and millions of people. Now, the big problem with defamation is that you're going to need to prove it at the actual malice phase. And actual malice means that they actually had a high standard of malice against you, not just they said something that they were mistaken about, but they knew it was wrong and they had actual malice. That's going to be hard. The last one, count 3, is declaratory judgment against OTK, Mythic, and King, which essentially is saying, hey, look, these guys breached their agreements, breached their bonds that they had over the management fees. So these management fees were not owed, and these were unlawful. So that's a breach there to divest the plaintiff Miskiff of his interest in the company. So those are the three main claims there. So my analysis of those three claims is that the breach of contract is once again the strongest, but it's entirely based on the contract. The letter from OTK hurts Miskiff's case. That's going to absolutely damage him and damage his ability to go forward on this.
I love to take my dog Coco outdoors because I'm always on the go. That's usually when I get somebody's urgent email. The features in Grammarly have been really helpful to create clear communication in a second. My name is Claudia. I'm a marketing manager and adjunct professor.
Okay, there you go.
Defamation is the most idiotic. Why is it the most idiotic?
Because he admitted to things.
Because it opens up discovery. Discovery means every single email, Discord message, WhatsApp, text message, anything, Signal, whatever else is out there, all of that is going to come out against Miskiff. And not only that, but he's opened up all of his finances. So all of his money, everything else is going to be coming out for all the world and God to see, for everybody to say, hey, what's going on with Miskiff? What is wrong here? How much money did he actually lose?
All of it. I mean, he's lying for most of it.
And did he lose that money because of these statements? Well, that's going to be really, really hard to prove, to show that, hey, because of these statements, I've lost revenue. How about you've been losing revenue because you've been, sucking lately, bro, right? You've been on a downtrend. You've been on a spiral. You've always been having trouble with views, having trouble with numbers. Everybody's numbers are down. So how are you hurt specifically, bro? And how are you going to prove that this is, once again, actual malice? This is something where they knew what they were saying was false, and they said it maliciously. I think that is something he's just not going to get to. And beyond that, there's seems to be proof and seems to be enough evidence that a lot of what was said was the tip of the iceberg. In fact, there's much more that people don't know about Miskiff that's going to come out. So all those naughty stories from those parties that he went to, once again, parties that content creators should be well advised to be very, very careful at, because these things can come back and bite you. So all of that's going to come out. All of his bad shenanigans at parties, all of his behavior, all of his conduct, that's going to come out. So all of
And none of it's going to be shocking.
that is going to weigh against them actually actively lying in a malicious way. The last is declaratory judgment, which I think is based upon the contract. Once again, the OTK letter, I think, hurts Miskiff here. But if the contract is pretty clear with giving them ability to breach, which once again, common corporate language, common corporate contracts, any corporate lawyer would know this, like myself, anybody else. There are reputational clauses. If you hurt the reputation of a company, they can terminate you. That's been a thing forever. That's always been a thing. So the fact that he thinks he can get away with that, the fact he thinks that, hey, that reputation doesn't matter for a company, no, that's very, very
I mean, you ruin a reputation of a company. Or cause a reputation to be in question of a company. And you get fired. Yeah.
very standard. That's very, very ad forma or pro forma, sorry. It's something that every company is going to want to get rid of somebody if they're a problem or look like a problem, and that's a standard clause. Almost everybody, every employee out there in modern corporate America has some sort of reputational clause. So I think for the breach of contract and for the declaratory judgment, I think he's going to have a real uphill battle there. And let's look at the letter here. This is very interesting. So this is something that was also included. He submitted this. Miskiff submitted this, that he had a notice on or about November 6, 2023, that he, from OTK, there's a notice of termination and repurchase. So he was already on notice. So trying to say that he had no notice literally goes against the own evidence that he submitted. I don't understand how stupid you can be and how hilariously dumb you can be to say, hey, I had no notice except for this letter where they already put me on notice for multiple instances. Let's read the language here. Reference to your course of misconduct, including multiple instances of unwanted physical contact and violence. So he was on notice for unwanted physical contact and violence. This is before the quote unquote mounting of Emaru, which happened more recently. And this is once again, as of January 24, 2025. So they already had this updated notice, and he's already was put on notice. And once again, let's read these comments, because these comments in and of themselves, which he previously made, would have been more than enough to terminate him. F streamers, F them all, F everybody, F FaZe Clan, F the fourth floor, F OTK, F everybody. I'm going to start being a solo streamer. I've never needed.
I don't know about that one. Good luck, I guess.
Anybody, they needed me. First of all, how desperate is that? How beta is that? How soy is that? You don't need me, you need me. No, sorry. Nobody needs your tough, I can't even handle a plushy self, bro. That is more than enough to say, if you're saying F your company, for them to terminate you. That's more than enough. And then going on beyond that, saying OTK failed miserably. Nobody wanted to buy it. It didn't make sense for anyone to ever purchase OTK or to run and operate OTK. So now OTK is very small. Put together, this alone would have been enough. So he's already defeated, I think, a lot of that argument for declaratory and for breach of contract just by his own evidence, which once again, how many brain cells do you have? And lawyers are willing to file a lot of things, even if there's lack of a real strong, reasonable basis. And based on the short form of this lawsuit, it's very short. There's not a long lawsuit. These clips that I've got you on this in this short, fast facts are actually the beef of what's going on here. This is not much, but all of it that we see kind of weighs against Miskiff, which to me, it just boggles the mind. So my conclusion here, and this is something I'll go into more detail on my live. You can get into my live and jump in on that as well. But I think this is going to destroy Miskiff legally, financially, and reputationally. In fact, if he wanted to have a good case, he would have a better case against Gucci Marks for his kind of representation of him in the deep fake, etc. That would have been a better case. But this case against Asmongold, Emaru, OTK, Mythic, it's not going to do well. But on Mythic and OTK's side, I think they should release the contract in full text. Release the contract like the Kraken. Just release it. It's going to come out in Discovery anyway, so we might as well get that contract. We might as well see, hey, what's the legal basis here? Because I guarantee you there's going to be a reasonable basis to terminate him. But the last thing I want to conclude on here is thank you for the infinite content, Miss Gift. This is the Christmas gift.
It's the second Golden Goose. First is Johnny Smalley, now we have this. So I guess
Early, the Thanksgiving
thank
gift, and I
you.
am absolutely grateful for you for that. But guys, I want to know what you think in the comments below, and I'll catch you on the next one.
All right. That okay. Now we have the kind of scary one, I guess. No. Okay. So this one, I guess essay warning a little bit. Okay. So actually for some claritext first. Conscious. She continues. If a victim read as yeah, so yeah. Shouldn't have. Okay.
솔직히 범죄를 저지른 사람도 아니고 가해자도 아닌데 내가 왜 이렇게 숨어야 되지? 피해자는 왜 이렇게 숨기고 살아야 되나? 근데 저는 한편으로 또 생각했어요. 내가 성폭행 당한 거를 사람들한테 말하면 와 사람들이 나를 굉장히 안쓰럽고 안타깝고 아 쟤는 성폭행 당하네 그냥 이렇게 생각을 하겠구나 해서 계속 참고 이제 유튜브 생활을 해왔던 거거든요. 제가 어느 순간 울지 않기로 했는데 또 이게 눈물이 또 나네요. 또 울면은 뭐 줍자면서 사람들한테 돈 얻으려고 하는 거다 이렇게 악플 쓰는 사람도 있어서 최대한 카메라 앞에서는 이제 안 울려고 했는데 또 눈물이 나네요. 그러면서 제가 최근에 좀 건강한 생활, 건강한 다이어트로 바꿨잖아요. 그 이유도 제가 성폭행을 당하고 나서 몸이 너무 안 좋아진 거예요. 일단 이제 삽입을 당하고 나서 제 자궁 질이 완전히 이제 망가진 거예요. 그래서 작년부터 거의 산부인과를 6개월 이상? 6개월이 뭐야? 거의 1년 다녔어요. 진짜 동네 그냥 그런 산부인과부터 진짜 큰 병원까지 다 가봤거든요. 항생제랑 약을 너무 많이 복용을 해서 그 병이 나으려고 완전 망가졌어요. 그래서 큰 병원에서 준 약이 너무 센 거예요. 그래서 지금 제가 생리를 한 달에 2번씩 해요. 거의 생리를 날짜를 계산해 보니까 14일을 하더라고요. 그리고 제가 원래 머리도 아무리 제가 다이어트를 혹독하게 해도 머리가 아예 안 빠졌어요. 아시는 분들 아실 건데, 근데 이 약을 이제 먹고 나서 머리가 미친 듯이 정말 빠지기 시작을 하는 거예요. 원래 샤워할 때도 그렇게 많이 안 빠졌는데 많이 빠졌고, 그래서 최근에 제가 건강한 다이어트로 완전히 방향성을 바꾼 이유도 사실 이 사건 때문이에요. 지금 모든 게 망가졌기 때문에 진짜 하루에 잠도 8시간 이상 자려고 노력하고 밥도 만들어 먹고 뭐 운동도 하고 이러는데 계속 제 지금 정신 상태는 더 안 좋아지는 거예요. 어제 정말 심하게 공황이 왔어요. 발작이랑 이제 과호흡. 현재 상태로는 공황, 우울, 불안, 일에 집중이 안 돼요. 글도 잘 안 읽히고요. 무기력. 솔직히 말하면 자살도 8월에도 했었어요. 뭐 정확히 어떻게 했는지는 말씀 안 드릴게요. 근데 실패했으니까 제가 지금 여기에 있는 거겠죠? 최근에 또 제 메일로 연락이 한 번 왔어요, 구독자님한테. 구독자님도 저랑 똑같이 그런 성범죄를 당하신 분이셨거든요. 그런 것들 읽으면서 정말 나만 당한 게 아니고 정말 많은 여성분들이 성범죄를 당하셨구나. 성폭행 당하니 아픔을 치유해 나가는 영상을 찍고 싶어요. 그냥 점차 회복을 하는 유튜브를 찍고 싶어요. 솔직히 말하면 유튜버 분들이 항상 밝고 웃고 남한테 활기를 주는 영상을 많이 찍으시잖아요. 저도 그래서 일부러 1년 반 동안 더 그렇게 해왔던 것 같아요. 근데 저는 성폭행을 당한 상태로 모든 공황, 우울, 발작 모든 걸 다 가지고 있는데 계속
Alright, I'm not gonna be speaking because obviously I can't. It's not in English, so I can't not speak over it. But this is pretty rough.
계속 카메라 앞에서 밝은 척 하는 게 너무 버거운 거예요. 사람들은 내가 어떤 상황인지 모르니까. 근데 어떤 상황인지 모르시니까 더 답답할 거 아니에요. 곽혈수 쟤는 맨날 울기만 하고 왜 말을 안 하지? 성추행, 성폭행 뭐 엄청나게 오히려 더 사람들이 저한테 추궁을 하는 거예요. 너 무슨 일이야? 뭔 일이 있었니? 그러게 살 좀 그만 빼지 뭐 이런 말도 듣고. 근데 다이어트나 살이나 뭐 유튜브 이런 게 나한테는 스트레스가 전혀 아니었던 거예요. 오히려 유튜브는 내가 너무 좋아하는 일이고 여러분들과 소통하는 것도 좋고 저는 그래서 시작을 했던 거니까. 근데 그냥 이 사건 때문에 내가 이 일을 못하는 것도 너무 억울해요. 너무. 그래서 최근에 영상 텀을 보시면 아실 거예요. 한 달 동안 쉬고 또 영상 올리고 한 달 동안 쉬고 또 영상 올리고. 근데 그렇게 쉬어봤자 제 인생에 도움이 하나도 안 되는 거예요. 오히려 그렇게 쉬고 다시 시작할 때 더 힘든 거예요. 더 카메라 앞에서 말하기는 더 힘들고. 왜냐면 쉬었으니까. 내가 어떻게 해야 되지? 편집은 어떻게 하더라? 그냥 감이 다 사라지는 거예요. 운동을 뭐 일주일 쉬면 전으로 돌아가듯이 일도 결국에는 똑같잖아요. 그래서 저 진짜 너무 억울해요. 아직까지 소송은 끝난 상태가 아니고요. 아직도 저 한참 멀었다고 생각을 해요. 그래서 그런 밝은 척을 하는 모습을 편집하면서 보는데 너무 자기적이라고 느껴지는 거예요. 뭔지 알아요? 쟤는 왜 저렇게 밝은 척하냐? 지금 나는 이렇게 아픈데. 이런 생각을 하게 되더라고요. 그래서 여러분들 정말 너무 힘든 상태고요. 최근에 제가 영상에서 계속 정신 건강에 대한 이야기를 많이 했어요. 여성분들 본인의 건강, 아무리 힘든 일이 있어도 본인을 해치시는 마셔라, 안 좋은 행동으로. 근데 그게 제가 다 겪어보고 다 겪어봤으니까 여러분들한테 해드린 말씀이었거든요. 근데 그런 영상들이 유튜브에서는 또 이제 노란 딱지를 먹여요. 저는 제 영상 하나하나가 정말 자식 같은데 수익이 전혀 안 나오게 되는 거예요. 아마 이 영상도 그럴 거예요. 유튜브는 뭐 성폭행, 성추행, 뭐 성범죄 같은 이런 단어가 들어가면 무조건 노딱이 붙고 저는 수익 창출을 못 하더라고요. 그래서 제가 멘탈이 많이 안 좋아졌던 것 같아요. 더 나는 사람들한테 오히려 정신 건강이 정말 중요하다라고 말하는 영상인데 왜 유튜브에서는 이거를 검열을 하는가. 내가 피해자라고 말하고 여러분들한테 힘을 드리는 영상이어도 나는 수익을 창출하지 못하는 거예요. 그리고 뭐 가해자가 그때 당시에 아니야, 자세한 건 나중에 말하도록 할게요. 그래서 저는 어쨌든 성폭행 피해자고요. 계속 고통받고 있어요. 그래서 제가 지금 휴대폰 번호도 바꿨거든요. 그냥 이런 연락 자체를 받고 싶지가 않은 거예요. 그리고 우리나라의 소송 체계 자체가 저처럼 이렇게 고통받는 피해자들이 몇 년씩 더 고통을 받아야 되는 체계예요. 무슨 말씀인지 아시죠? 소송이 하루아침에 끝나는 게 아니에요. 몇 년씩 걸리는 거예요. 거의 1년 반 동안 했어요. 안 돼요. 안 끝나. 정말 다 왔대. 끝날 것 같대. 안 끝나. 그럼 저는 점점 죽어가는 거예요. 성범죄 피해자들이 신고를 하고 소송을 진행하는 과정에서 더 힘든 거예요. 왜냐면 경찰한테 받는 2차 가해, 누구한테 받는 2차 가해, 수사관한테 받는 2차 가해, 제가 뭐 경찰 조사 갑니다. 뭐 이런 것들 블로그에 썼었죠. 굉장히 고통스럽게 쓴 글이에요. 그것도 다. 경찰이 저한테 그러더라고요. 성폭행 당할 때 왜 신고 안 하셨어요? 본인 직접 당해보면 바로 신고할 수 있을 것 같아. 안 된다고. 그래서 제가 바로 침대에서 눈 뜨자마자 신고했는데 달라지는 게 없는 거예요.
I mean, asking someone to report it after, you were just essayed is kind of insane to suggest. Like, that's a bit odd thing to, it's like, oh, why didn't you report it? I don't know. Someone, that's an awful thing to experience, so I don't think at the time you're just, I guess, in shock.
저한테 나만 더 힘든 것 같고 제가 어젯밤에 자려고 누웠는데 딱 어떤 느낌이냐면 심장이 너무 아픈 거예요. 내가 진짜 죽겠구나. 근데 안 죽어요. 내가 내 165cm 상자에 갇혀있는 기분이에요. 내가 정말 좁아터진 상자에 갇혀있는 기분이에요. 그러면서 제가 숨을 못 쉬는 거예요. 그래서 그렇게 과호흡이 왔고 공황이 왔을 때 창문을 정말 열어 제껴서 이렇게 하는데 안 좋아. 그냥 안 달라지더라고요. 그래서 우울, 불안 이런 거는 운동을 하면 좀 해소가 되는데 공황은 약 먹어야 되더라고요. 그래서 내일 오전에 정신과를 가기로 했어요.
Opioid addiction gets between you and what you love. Once monthly Supplicate may help you move forward in your recovery. Supplicate, with counseling and psychosocial support, treats moderate to severe opioid addiction in adults started on an oral dose of buprenorphine or already on.
정말 여러분들을 감정 쓰레기통으로 생각하는 게 아니라 제 구독자분들 곧 20만 명이죠. 근데 이 분들 중에 성범죄를 당하신 성추행부터 성희롱, 성폭행을 당하신 분들이 얼마나 많겠어요? 그래서 저는 이런 피해자분들과 더 으쌰으쌰 하면서 힘을 내는 영상을 앞으로 만들어 가고 싶어요. 저는 언제 회복이 될지 아마 이 아픔은 평생 가겠죠. 저는 제가 잘못한 거 없다고 생각해요. 없지. 내가 뭘 잘못했어. 나는 그냥 막차가 끊겨서 택시를 탄 것뿐이라고. 그냥 앞으로 정신 건강 더 챙기면서 몸 건강 챙기는 영상 올리고 싶어요. 그냥 밝은 척 안 하고 우는 날이면은 그냥 우는 날 우는 거 올리고 여러분들 그런 거 보시면 오히려 뭔가 더 텐션이 낮아지거나 그러실 수도 있고 아니면 오히려 힘을 얻으시는 분들도 있으시겠죠. 근데 그냥 그게 저예요. 그냥 저는 버티는 거예요. 그냥 버티는 걸 영상에서 말하고 싶어요. 영상이 올라갈지 나도 솔직히 네가 올렸으면 좋겠어. 내가 힘들잖아. 계속 가리면서 사는 게 계속 생각해요. 피해자들은 왜 항상 숨어야 하고 감춰야 하고 왜 이 좁아터진 방 안에서 혼자 괴로워해야 되는 걸까? 그래서 전 생각해요. 나 성폭행 당했는데 왜? 어때서? 같이 이겨내면 되는 거잖아. 이런 세상이 왔으면 좋겠어요. 더 이상 감추지 않았으면 좋겠어요. 더 이상 피해자들이 힘들 때 술 마시고 감추려고 하고 이러지 않았으면 좋겠어요. 왜냐면 더 독이 되고. 근데 제가 피해자가 돼봐서 알잖아요. 이걸 더 숨기고 감추고 하면 할수록 더 힘든 거예요. 더 외로워지고 더 고립되고 나는 항상 괴로워하고 밝은 척하고 저는 더 이상 그렇게 살고 싶지 않아요. 저는 애초에 밝은 사람도 아니고 그 사건 이후로 그냥 나한테 밝음이란 없어졌으니까 저는 그냥 편안하게 채널 운영하고 싶어요. 진짜 나를 보여주면서. 저는 정말 제가 말한 거에 단 하나의 거짓도 없고 변호사님들도 최대한 노력을 하고 있으니까 믿고 기다리는 수밖에 없는 거죠. 저는 제가 할 수 있는 거 없으니까. 제가 그리고 할 수 있는 거는 다 했으니까 지금까지 세상 모든 피해자분들께 힘이 되어드리고 싶어요. 오늘도 괴로우실 거고 내일도 괴로우실 거고 밤마다 아마 삶에 대한 고비가 오실 텐데 알죠. 너무 잘 알죠. 근데 우리 같이 잘 살아봤으면 좋겠어요. 댓글에 편하게 그냥 쓰세요. 나 어떤 일이 있었는데 어떻게 당했어. 그냥 저처럼 편하게 말하는 거예요. 그러면 훨씬 나아질 거예요. 제가 정말 너무너무 힘들 때마다 계속 일기를 썼어요. 나 정말 버티기 너무 힘들고 외롭고 근데 글 쓰고 블로그에 올렸을 때 여러분들이 또 공감을 해주시니까 거기서 이제 힘을 얻고 계속 살아왔던 거예요. 그래서 여러분들도 아마 피해자분들이 엄청나게 많으실 거예요. 왜냐면 제가 경찰한테 들었을 때 성범죄를 당하고 신고하는 사람이 정말 많이 없대요. 변호사와 함께 이제 소송을 진행하는 경우는 훨씬 더 드물고 아마 1%일 거예요. 1%. 해바라기 센터 가서 해바라기 센터가 이제 성범죄를 당했을 때 가서 다 귀부터 질부터 입부터 어깨 가슴 다 이제 면봉으로 채취를 하면서 그 증거를 찾는 곳이에요. 그래서 저도 바로 갔었죠. 근데 그 해바라기 센터 직원분이 말씀하시길 이런 일을 당하고 여기까지 오시는 분들이 정말 드무니까 정말 너무 대단하신 거라고. 그래서 여러분들도 성범죄, 성추행, 성폭행 당하셨을 때 꼭꼭 신고하시고요. 씻지 말고 가셔서 해바라기 센터 가셔서 다 채취를 하시고요. 증거가 없으면 안 되더라고요. 소송이. 내가 아무리 당했다고 해도 증거가 없으면 나를 믿어주는 사람은 아무도 없어요. 회피한다고 신고를 안 하는 순간 피해자들은 더 생기는 거거든요. 솔직히 말하면 제가 첫 번째 피해자가 아니에요. 아니겠죠, 당연히. 택시에서 얼마나 많은 친구들이 겪었을까. 제가 전 재산을 다 걸어서라도 저는 절대 지지 않아요. 저는 끝까지 가요. 제 앞에 피해자분들이 얼마나 고통스러웠겠어요? 와, 지금도 아플 거예요. 많이. 저 절대 안 져요. 저는 이렇게 말했으니까 유튜브 더 열심히 할 거고, 왜 내가 좋아하는 일을 못 해야 돼? 난 왜 이렇게 괴로워만 해야 돼? 내가 피해자라서. 아니, 난 더 열심히 해. 나는 절대 진 적 없어. 한 번도. 나는 그 피해자분들을 생각하면서 더 열심히 싸울 거고 더 강해질 거예요. 앞으로도 열심히 뭔가 건강한 생활을 하면서 근데 건강한 생활을 잘 할 수 있을 거라고 확신은 못 하겠어요. 전 항상 그랬거든요. 1년 반 동안. 건강한 생활을 해야지. 그러다가 또 소송에 대한 관련 내용이 오면 또 무너지고. 그래, 나는 다시 살 수 있어. 건강한 생활을 하자. 그럼 또 무너지고. 할 수 있어. 또 무너지고. 할 수 있어. 또 무너지고. 그래서 최근에 제가 수영이랑 마라톤, 헬스 운동을 그렇게 운동선수만큼 열심히 했던 이유가 너무너무 힘들어서요. 너무너무. 내가 내 몸을 더 힘들게 하면 좀 마음이 나아지는 거예요. 왜냐면 너무 힘드니까. 그렇게 우울, 불안을 숨기면서 살았는데 안 될 것 같아요. 시간이 약이라고 하는데 어떻게 1년 반이 지나도 나아지지가 않고 소송도 끝나질 않는지 많이 힘듭니다. 내일 이제 정신과를 가서 공황적인 부분, 공황이 오면은 제가 이제 더 무너지니까 공황에 대한 부분 상담 치료도 받아야 될 것 같긴 한데 좀 더 두려운 건 혹시나 제가 치료받다가 더 상처를 받을까봐 일단 약물 처방으로 나아지겠습니다. 내일 다녀올 거고 피해자분들 더 이상 숨지 마시고 성폭행 당했는데 내가 왜 숨어야 돼? 우리가 왜 숨어야 되지? 나 범죄자도 아닌데. 저 범죄 한 번도 일으킨 적 없는데. 30분 넘게 카메라 앞에서 말했는데 확실히 마음이 편안해진 것 같아요. 그럼 일단 제가 아직도 밥을 한 끼도 못 먹어서 일단 밥을 먹고 힘내서 살아볼게요. 많이 이제 들으셨을 때 힘드실 수도 있을 것 같은데 끝까지 들어주신 분들 너무너무 감사합니다. 감사합니다.
All right, that unfortunately was a sad end, but I mean, they shouldn't be silent, and that that's rough to listen to, but but that's end the stream. If they're on a rewatch, maybe like the video stream, comment at the end, and subscribe if you enjoy me talking about like stuff, Korea stuff, and But that said, that's the end. I'll see you next week unless someone else happens to speak. But till then, I'll see you then. Bye.
The unkillable Demon King, the first inductee into the Hall of Legends, and the greatest of all time,
Welcome to the Blizzard Arena.
And the quest for a champion begins today.
The anticipation has been building, and it is finally time. We are live.
Are you
That is a really.
Can you get over the roof there? Oh my!
Oh my! What a play! What a grab!
Another jump here on the high ground. Super goes forward, but gets stuck up. The EMP comes in, and ding! He rains down hell from above.
Here comes Pine. Gets one, gets two. Looking for a bit more. Gets another one. Tuno's down again. The Herald's disaster generally for the Fusion, and Carpe wasn't far behind. Prophet! He's killed 4 players now on his own.
From Vancouver, locks him in the sound barrier. Sound bomb coming in from John. Oh my God! He does it again.
Flatter down moving up to the Widowmaker, taking the clutch into his own hands. The headshot after headshot after headshot.
Okay, I like this for the Gladiators. They're going to try and circle around. I'm going to call this the merry-go-round because it makes me laugh. Makes me happy, and Sean Paul switches to the Widowmaker at just the right time. Oh, the Gravy!
I'm the best tracer in the world.
Oh my word!
I mean, you could have told me that you spoke English, honestly.
The fans never thought they'd see this day. It took 43 matches. Feels like a really emotional moment here.
I'll see you later. Bye.